So we create our own truths, therefore we can change our own truths. So what does that mean? So for me, what that means is we're able to create in our minds our own, beliefs, the beliefs that we want to have. And a big thing is to recognize that some of the truths that we have inside of us are not necessarily ones that we put there, right? It could be a mother, a father, a grandparent, somebody close to us, a teacher could have put, our truths inside of us, or would be more of their truths inside of us, and we have just accepted those as our truths. When in reality, if we're able to go inside and look at things within ourselves on what's right, what are our truths, a good, hard, honest look is going to start to uncover the truth that, not everything that we think is our own thoughts, right? Like, for instance, like a thief, let's take a thief, for instance. A thief is going to steal, right? That's what they do. And they steal because, maybe that's the only way that they know how to get the things that they want. And to them, there's nothing wrong with it. They're just going, they're getting what they want. And that's that. But for somebody that's not a thief, they're going to look at the thief and it's going to be one of the worst things that you can do is to go and steal from another person. But who's right there? So the thief feels like he's right for stealing because that's how he gets what he wants, and that's just all he knows. And then the average person, it's completely opposite truths, but they're both those people's truths. So whether it's right or wrong, good or anything, it's just the truths that we have. And one of the hardest things that we can do is to go in and try to identify those truths, right? Because some of the things that we have inside of us, we may be ashamed of. There may be things that we don't want to admit to ourselves, even though deep down in the very pits of our core, we know that it's not right, but for whatever reason, whether it be, we're ashamed of it or anything, we just keep it. We allow it to remain. And what that's doing is that continues to just, you have that seed of negativity, that seed of doubt within yourself that's going to permeate into everything in your life because of that dark seed that in all reality, you don't even want to be in there, to be inside. So, and you'll ask, well, how do I get that out? And that's really hard. That takes just pure honesty to yourself and a really deep desire to want better. Like, you have to really want to get out of whatever it is that you're dealing with that's the negativity, to be able to uproot a seed like that. But it is possible, and it may not, it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it's where, and that's kind of the purpose of me doing what I'm doing, talking with you, is to just try to plant that little seed that says, hey, you can. There's ways to do it. It's not easy by any means, any stretch of the imagination. It is not easy. And it's going to be one of the hardest things you've ever had to do in your life. But the benefits that come out of it are going to be way better than anything that you've ever had in your life, and anything that you can ever even imagine that you would ever have in your life. That's how much those dark, deep seeds of negativity do to us without us realizing, and the majority of people, at varying degrees, have those dark seeds within them that keeps them from really achieving the things. So it comes back to the truths, like, to be able to get those bad things out and then start to feed yourself, the truths to yourself that are actually going to help improve your life instead of holding you back. And in order to do that, I would say the first thing is to try to get all the negative out, which you don't have to get it out at first, but even with that negativity seed in you, you can continue and begin to start to plant, these positive seeds. Think of the things in your mind that, that aren't necessarily terrible things that you can start to, but they're not terrible things to yourself, but they're not really serving you. They're not helping you to become a happier person. If anything, they're just kind of keeping you kind of stagnant, kind of just, meh, I guess you would say. And you can start to replace those things and realize that, hey, that's not helping me. And then replace that with a thought that is going to help you. And then through just the repetition of reminding yourself, whether it's, a self-esteem thing that, just telling yourself every day, no, I can do that. I am this, or I am that. I am smart. I can, because everybody can. And if you continue to tell yourself those things, then you're going to start to believe it, because that's just, it goes back to, I've said previously on a child learning their name. Through time, they're going to learn it. That's just the way that the mind works, is the mind has to be constantly reminded of things, and then it goes from the conscious, because that's our conscious mind that we actually use to think, and then that needs to feed and continue to feed to the subconscious mind, which is the mind that just reacts, right? So I read that there was like 30,000 plus, or 33,000, I think it was, decisions that a person makes on average every day, 30 plus thousand. And then when I read that, I was like, man, I don't remember making that many decisions, and ever, maybe a handful really of decisions that I really remember making in any given day. So that really sets back, and if once you really start to think about that, it's like, man, there's probably a lot of decisions that are being made just based off of, the truths that I hold within myself that are not necessarily on the front of my mind. They're not things that I think about every day, but they're the things that were put into me as truths from other people that I've just learned to accept as my truths. When in reality, maybe they're not helping me. They're not making my life better. But the people have put them in there, they're in there, and then in my subconscious self, I'm making all these decisions throughout a day and not even realizing it. So as we work through it and start to, really expand ourselves and work and understand the truths that we have and start to replace the ones that are not helping us within ourselves, and then getting to the point where our subconscious mind is running off and making the decisions based off of the things that are actually going to help us and the things that we believe inside, that's where things really are going to start changing. Because everything that we have in our life is it truly is just the presenting of the thoughts that we've had. And I mean, for me at least, as the only person that I can speak upon, I know that the more I'm able to only have positive thoughts, and that's something that I spend a lot of time on, and I'm very conscious, I'm very aware, and I'm able to, for the most part, stay really good at it, that whenever I hear something that's negative, I remind myself that I am not allowing myself to emotionalize anything that's negative. I will take it, right? You take something, somebody says something negative. What you do is, the first thing is you accept it, whatever it is. It could be something they've done, something they said. You just accept it for what it is, because there's no changing it. Like, it's done. Like, they said it, they did it. There's no changing. You can't go back into the past. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is examine it, kind of roll it around and find the good, because there's good in everything. I really believe that you can always find the upside of everything. And that's to one of the natural laws, the laws of like polarity, the opposites. If there's an up, there's a down. If there's a good, there's a bad. So if it's a bad context, there has to, by law, be something good to find in it. So you find it, you find the good. So first you accept it for what it is, you find the good, and then you allow yourself to take that good and really feel it. And when I say emotionalize, it's, allowing it to mean something to you. I think when I say emotionalize, it's allow it to mean something. But don't let the negative aspect of it mean anything and really resonate within you. So accept it for what it is, take the good from it, and then just, let the rest of it go. It's not going to do you any good. And it's not to say to be cold or mean or anything like that. We need to sympathize and empathize with people. People that have problems, you don't want to just blow them off to say that, I don't care, I'm just staying away from negative, get away from me. No, they're people, they have problems, they need help. So you need to help them But it's the key is to get to the point where you can sympathize and empathize with them without internalizing and emotionalizing their problems. Because if as soon as you start allowing other people's problems to come in and you emotionalize those, all you're doing is bringing those problems into your life, which are in the future going to present themselves as problems in your life. So, and that's, that could be kind of a tricky thing, and but it just comes down to remembering. All we have to do is remember the things that we're trying to do. We're trying to be better. We're trying to keep the positive and not allow the negative to come in. And as long as you're able just to continue to remember those things, this is not really hard. But a lot of the times, the hardest thing is just to remember. We often forget to remember that we're doing something. Like, if you're on a diet, let's say, you're doing real good, and the next thing you know, you're sitting there eating a candy bar or something, or, I do the keto sometimes, so I'm eating like something that's loaded with carbs. And it's because I forgot I was on the diet subconsciously. I just doing it, and then I realize it. And, I'm sure you've had something like that you can relate to. So it's getting to that point of the remembrance that, I want to be better. I want to do good. I want to be positive. I don't want to allow the negative to control me. We have to remember that. And, you're going to be different than me. But for me, to remember, what I do is I kind of do the same thing, or I try to do the same things in the morning. And, it's really based initially off of the willpower to do it. It's just the will to remember that you're doing it. And then even if you kind of remember, oh yeah, I want to do that, but I really don't feel like doing that, that's where, if you're able to will through and push through to it and do it, you're only going to the power's only going to get better. And then the other thing, as, we work and as you work through this, is never accept any temporary defeats as a permanent defeat. Because even for me, there's days where, I let my mind get the best of me, right? Like, and I don't think about these things that I'm doing, but I'm always able to bring myself back. And that's the thing, is not to let temporary failures turn into a defeat, because it's not. You don't have to be perfect. We're not going to be perfect in this. The goal is to be perfect and to remember every moment of our lives. That's what we're working towards, but we always need goals that we're going to work towards. So for me, that's a goal that I work towards, but it's not. Like, I'm not perfect, and, there's going to be things that are going to be hard, but it's just remembering that that's okay. Let's just learn from it, let's move on, and let's just get back on it as if we had never stopped. Pick up right where you left off and just keep going. And then the other thing, is back to really looking inside on the truths that we hold. Again, that's a very, that could be a very sensitive portion of you on the inside to understand, but, just know that the people that love you, they really love you, and there's nothing that you can do that's going to change them from loving you. And if you're honest with somebody and they go away because of your honesty, then you didn't need that person anyways, because it's, they're just going to essentially hold you back from your true happiness. And this, I know that's hard. That's going to be extremely hard to do, but just know that once you're able to, your life is going to change in ways that you would never thought that they could ever change for the good. And then you're going to start to, feel different. Like now, because of this positive mindset and this positive attitude that I'm really taking on, at any time that I start to feel a certain way that's not positive, whether it be negative or grumpy or whatever, I'm able just to stop myself, think about people that I love and send love out and get myself back into that feeling of the positivity, and then move on and not be, succumb to the thoughts of the negativity that would present themselves to me. and then through time and through practice, that's what you'll be able to do. And you're going to feel so good. You will feel so good all the time. And it almost becomes like, nearly an addiction to say, no, the way that I feel, I do not want to lose that. But it's based in the right thing. It's based in the positivity. Like, once you get that, you don't want to lose it. And I find that it's what keeps me on track. It brings me back because, I used to drink, and it's like, when I would drink, I would always feel for days, if not weeks, I just didn't feel quite right until, it got completely out of my system. And I really noticed it in my mental capacity, right? You drink, it slows you down, for me at least. And it would do something, and it would last for me. So once I actually quit drinking, it's like my mental capacity is much higher than when I would drink. So now that helps me not even think about it. I don't even want to drink, because I know that, not that it makes you dumber by any means, but it slows you down. It slows me down. And, I don't want to be slowed down. I don't think slowing down is really what I'm here for. I don't think that's what you're here for, or any of us are here for. We're all here for fuller expression of ourselves, to create more, to be more, and to help more. So again, I want to thank you for listening, and I really hope that something from this is going to plant that little seed in you that lets you know that there is more. There's more to life. There's better out there that we can get, and it just starts with one step at a time. Not succumbing to temporary failures, and just really working on always trying to keep that positive mentality in you.